Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dave Huppatz and I'll be your MC for tonight. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we stand upon, the Kaurna people of the Adelaide Plains. We recognise and respect their culture, heritage, beliefs and relationships with the land. We acknowledge that they are of continuing importance to the Kaurna people living today. We pay respect to their elders, past, present and emerging. I won't welcome you, that's the job of Don a little bit later on, but I do have a few little announcements to make before we get started. We have a number of apologies. Bishop Carroll from Port Pirie, Father Jim Monaghan, the Port Pirie Diocese Vicar General, Father Philip Marshall, our past Vicar General here in Adelaide, Monsignor Rob Egar, our State Chaplain, Brother George Shikola, who is the Supreme Knight, Brother Vince Grahana, our Deputy Supreme Knight, John Hennessy, National Membership Development Officer from Victoria, Brother Eddie Radke and wife Moya from Brisbane, Brother Tony and Ida Shah, Brother Paul Keneally from Southern Flurio, and Brother John Schnell from Dernancourt. We have a number of invited guests here tonight. Of course, we have His Grace Archbishop Patrick O'Regan. We have Emeritus Bishop Greg O'Kelly. We have Father Dean Marin, who is the Vicar General, and we welcome him back from Mount Gambier. Father John Hurd. We have Mr. Greg Crafter and wife Ray. Mr. David Moran and wife Loretta. David Martin, sorry, and wife Loretta. David Moran, pardon me. Unfortunately, David's wife Danielle has not been able to be with us tonight. We have Mrs. Michelle McCormick, who is a member of the Southern Cross Care Board. We have Dr. Vim and Mrs. Lindell, and we have Mrs. Joan Young, who is from the Southern Cross Golf Club. So I now ask our State Chairman, Brother Don Campbell, to come and officially welcome you all.
Archbishop Patrick O'Regan, Bishop Greg Kelly, Fathers Dean Marin and John Hurd, David Martin, the Southern Cross Care Chairman and Mrs. Loretta Martin, and Ms. Michelle McCormick on the board, and David Moran, the CEO of Southern Cross Care, Greg and Ray Crafter, Dr. Vin and Mrs. Lyndall Thomas and Mrs. Joan Young, members, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to you all here this evening, and a very special welcome to a guest that we have here at the moment, Mr. Richard Keane and his wife, Trudy. Now, Richard is the Deputy Green Knight in the Knights of Columba in Urbana, Champaign in Illinois. It is truly remarkable that we are able to hold this dinner here tonight to celebrate 100 years since the Order of the Knights was formed in South Australia. But before I proceed further, and I'll try and keep it fairly quick, tight schedule, I have to read an apology though that came through from one of our clergy, and it's a little bit humorous in its contents, but describes what the actions of the Knights as he saw them some 40 years ago. And I don't think he'd mind me saying it here tonight. But he goes on, "Dear Don, my sincere apologies that I'm not able to attend this centenary dinner. I have the utmost admiration for the Knights of the Southern Cross. My experience of a group of knockabout blokes who punch well above their weight. I recall a day in 1986 when he was a new priest. The parish priest was away and I was running late for the start of the early Sunday Mass. Waiting for me at the door as I rushed in was a very big and agitated man in a state of considerable distress, and with very little English. His agitated behaviour continued during Mass. I was wondering if a fight might break out in Mass or if we needed to call the police. After Mass we worked out that Marco had been a bit out of sorts the night before and spent the night in the police cells. He was booted out in the morning but starving hungry. Fortunately the Knights were running their monthly breakfast that morning. We managed to get Marco into the parish hall and a large plate of bacon and eggs and sausages in front of him. He polished it off in no time and called for another plate. After a while there was an admiring group of Knights around him. I hadn't seen any bloke eat like this before in a long time. And after 3 platefuls he sat back, patted his tummy and asked if anyone had a cigar. I was very pleased to have the Knights around that morning. And he goes on to talk about you know, what the Knights did actually in Whyalla. And I don't think you mind me mentioning his name, the Vicar General, Kerry Father Skimble, Monaghan. It was very good. I'll cut it short there, but that was the humorous side of it. But the actual date of the anniversary of KSC was the 5th of February. This was the date in 1922 when Joseph Lynch, one of the founders of the Knights in New South Wales, accompanied by another New South Wales delegate by the name of Lee, met with a selected group of Catholic men in a room at the back of St Francis Xavier Cathedral Hall to form the order in South Australia. So our plans for Centenary celebration have been delayed from February until May so that we could hold a national triennial conference of the Knights and have that coincide with this. Unfortunately, the triennial conference was cancelled a couple of months ago when a new variant of COVID-19 spread rapidly across the country. However, the delay was probably a blessing in disguise, because I don't think we could have held this event in February. Certainly we've had some concerns about our ability to hold such an event because of COVID-19 and some twists and turns along the planning path for Centenary. After locating the gravesite of the inaugural Grand Knight, John Stephen Malone, and holding a dedication ceremony on the 30th of March here to secure a plaque at the foot of his grave, it caused me to wonder about the significance of the challenges that Jack must have faced in starting the Knights in South Australia in 1922. They must have been enormous. After the establishment of the order in 1922, a branch was developed which later became 2 branches, which with new members increasingly joining and expanding to other branches. Projects which supported KSC's objects helped to unite us with and support the Church, enhance the Catholic faith of members and expand assistance to members and their families in times of discrimination against Catholics. We've been told of examples of incredible progress made in those days by those founding members. This included many committees, of which a discrimination committee, a finance and building committee, a building fund, an assistance committee and an election committee were just a few examples. In later years, Knights were behind the establishment of Southern Cross Homes, now known as Southern Cross Care, who support KSC so much today, I'm so happy to say. The problems we face today are certainly different and significant, but are minor in comparison to that of 100 years ago. But we're happy to see that KSC carries on with some of the work today that members like John Malone, be it not to the same extent of their time. Whilst I thank the State Councillors enough for their support to me and their teamwork throughout the preparations of the Centenary, it's been magnificent, I must say. I also express State Councillors' thanks for the assistance provided by our South Australian branches, financially and in some cases committee members. Dr. Vin Thomas, an author and advisor to our history writing, by Southern Cross Care and by the Archdiocese. Members have supported us in the research and writing of our history over this past few years. One member and his wife, Tony and Ida Shah, spent many hours researching photographs, regalias and history. I'm sure the author of the history Brother Paul Hawkes will tell you this evening about the book that we're releasing for sale tonight, so I won't steal his thunder. So I thank all of you who have contributed in any way with your help towards the history of the preparations of the Centenary. So I'd like to leave it there as Archbishop Patrick O'Regan and Mr. Greg Craft, and it will entertain you more than I can. And you may also see the raffle books come your way, and you may have heard that we will run a silent auction during the evening. There will also be a door prize, but don't throw your dinner tickets away. And thank you very much.